know, it's a pretty like inspirational thing, and it's like pretty rewarding to kind of like go into a space and kind of like search for a photograph. I'll see like other photographers and stuff take shots outside. It's like cool to kind of see like how they interpret like a space, like especially if it's like a really popular place like a national park, and how they individually like choose to shoot the same thing. How can I kind of like shoot that? And I also just love like to explore and be outside, so it kind of like is a good connection to both creativity and also like just kind of recreational. So like photography for me was always like, I want to show people like these things that I see and why I'm picking up the camera, and why like if you picked up the camera, you could technically take the same photo I did, but you didn't, or you weren't like drawn to the same scene that I was. So it's like, even though like anyone can take a photograph, each photograph is still like intrinsically yours.
Do you find something interesting here?
There's not too much here. That's because it is kind of an open field.
Yeah.
So.
Do you prefer like something going on more than this?
Yeah. Well, just typically during like this time of day with the lighting so harsh.
Oh
there's
yeah,
not
true.
Too much interesting going on. So yeah, when I first came to college, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do, so I kind of was taking a mixture of classes my first semester, and one of them was intro to photography. As I've gotten deeper into like my majors and whatnot, I've been kind of like experimenting with like how photography can work for my career goals. One of the ways that kind of fitted in is like I've always kind of been like a landscape photographer, but I've also kind of wanted to try my hand at like wildlife photography. And since I'm a biology and environmental science major, both of those could be like pretty useful in terms of like just having images of spaces in place and time, or like what animals are where and what they look like. If it is like a hardcore landscape, I'll usually typically like have a little bit of idea of like what I want to shoot or like where I want to go to. But if it's like something I have like a specific model for, find more enjoyment of like trying to find things outside in nature to like line up in a photograph. Like wildlife photography, there's kind of like several different ways that you can do it. But since I kind of know like the negative implications of like what humans being in like a naturalistic space with like wild animals can do, I usually try to like find a spot that I can like sit at for a long time and just kind of like become less abrasive in the environment, and that usually comes with a lot of lighting. It's a lot less abrasive, and it kind of lets the like subject or like animal kind of just exist in its like more natural state. Each animal's different, but it's kind of like a study rather than just like you get the shot and get out. I think like especially for like animals, if you want like, you can have like a good shot, but if you want a great shot, you kind of have to like investigate. There's way more thinking that goes into like the actual like subject rather than like finding a scene.
I don't give a shit about that. Like I just want to take a picture of the bird, wherever the bird is going to be. So I take pictures of wildlife because I like to find the subject. Like the subject isn't something that I create, it's something that is already there. And so wherever it goes, I go, and I don't really care if it's in like the right position. So I grew up pretty outside. I was very isolated. I lived in a very rural county, and I had no siblings and no internet. My parents homesteaded there when they built our house, and we had no electricity for a long time. So I grew up very much like surrounded by nature. I think it feels just the most natural to me. It's the most comfortable place I can be. I definitely feel the most myself when I'm outside, just like the least filters, the least kind of like guarded, and just like, I don't know, I like being part of all of the living things around me and knowing that I'm not that disconnected from it. We rely on it. Like without nature, we will all die. When we are actively killing our planet, it kind of surprises me when people don't care that much, I guess, because it is vital to our survival. Like without bees, we will have no food. We will not be able to eat. We will not be able to grow anything. We're not like that disconnected from nature, but we have this kind of illusion that we are. We all came from nature, I think, regardless of what you believe in. But as a society, we have this really large disconnect with nature, where we live in these very like sterile inside worlds where all of the things around us aren't alive. And when you go outside, you might be overwhelmed for a moment. But if you actually like sit down and take a moment to kind of be calm and be in the nature, you see that everything around you is alive and moving. And you begin to notice like all these little bugs on the ground and all of the ways that the grass is like waving. And I think we lose something when we're so scared of bugs, or we're so scared of getting our hands dirty, or like going outside and interacting with it. But that's how we stay connected. So with not protecting it just seems so silly to me. I think honestly one of the first steps is just knowing where you are and understanding the land that you live on. And I think knowing the trees and knowing the plants around you and the basic animals and their basic understanding the food chain and the flora and fauna where you are is really important for connecting with it. So how are you supposed to be able to conserve that land and actually take care of it if you don't know it and you don't know what plants you're killing? Or if you take down this tree, is it going to affect anything? It might not. There might be a nest, there might not be. But you have to know, and you have to do the work to be there first.
Can you clap for us once, please?
Yeah, we have a ladybug with us, so we're kind of absorbed in that. Yeah, I don't know. I know for my future that I'd like to do something related to being outside and have a job in the outdoors. That's the goal. The goal is that also it would be conservation oriented. I'd like to do like something good with my time here and not work for like a giant oil company or something. But yeah, I'm not really sure what that will look like yet. So that's just the goal.
I know I really want to go into like conservation ecology and do like some field work with it. Just because like a lot of the things we're not protecting is just because we don't understand them a lot. So I really want to kind of like be able to like do stuff where like I can like research like ecosystems, kind of like get a good idea of what's happening, and then kind of like present that as reasons why, or like methods how to like conserve areas. I think it's going to be interesting because I think we need to come to terms with the like catch-22 of green energy, because like while green energy is renewable, it also takes up a lot more space than like a singular coal plant does, which kind of like has problems with it, and is also like why like there's not a ton of like good green energy alternatives everywhere. And I also think like we just need to stop, like we have too much diplomacy to a point that's like debilitative to like actual like progress, where we argue too much about the possibilities that we don't actually like get something pushed ahead.
I think one of our biggest problems right now is that we have our all matters kind of environmental policy are so politicized, right? So we have this like very unfortunate crossover where every decision we make about the environment has to kind of like go through all of our legal systems, which like Carson was saying are very like slow and difficult, and there's so much disagreement about whether or not climate change even exists sometimes, and what we should be doing about it. But yeah, something needs to change, and I don't know how, but I hope we figured it out, and I hope that it's us, because at this point it feels like it has to be. Oh my god. Oh my god. Is it actually?
Yeah.
Can I shoot it? Can I? Oh, I don't have a camera. Can I use yours? Can I use? Thank you. Is that okay?